What is up, my sexy YouTube mother lovers? Y'all asked, y'all receive. Today is the build breakdown of the 75 mile per hour plus macfox X1S. Before we get straight into it, there's a couple tools you are going to need for this build. Starting off, needle nose pliers, various pliers, almost everybody has those. I would highly recommend having an impact driver just so you can get those bolts nice and tight. Bits for that impact driver and sockets. Adjustable wrenches will do, but I highly recommend having standalone wrenches. Wire strippers if you are planning to do your own connectors on all your throttles and stuff. Tube liner for when you put the new rear wheel on, or new rear hub motor on. And a multimeter to make sure you wired everything up correctly for your bike. Hey, I'm deciding halfway through this build to do a face reveal, so please like and subscribe. Also, for this modification, you're going to need to grind out the old torque arms that were on there before so the new axle will fit, because it's like half a millimeter, 3/4 millimeter thicker than the stock one. Also, you're going to need a drill, not an impact driver, a drill to drill holes and tap threads into the frame so you can mount these torque arms so you don't strip your dropouts. If you strip your dropouts or bend your dropouts, all you have to do is make a torque plate. You can probably send it to a machinist and you can run that as your dropouts bolted to your frame. But you cannot do that too many times due to the fact that you can only put so many holes in your frame.
Yellow diamonds in the light.
Starting things off, for the powertrain of the bike, we have the Emerge 20S 8P that pushes 500 phase amps with EV 50 PL cells. Later in the video, I'll show you guys how to actually order one of these batteries directly from Alibaba.
Yes, officer, it is class 2.
So for the rear power plant of the bike, we have an NV Power QS205 3.5T, rated for 100 amps, but I'm pushing 450 amps. Honestly, they're well known for being able to push high heat at high RPMs with large amounts of torque. If you are looking for more top speed, you can go with the QS205 3T. Will get you up to about that 85 mile per hour mark. And if you're looking for more torque, which there's no way you'd ever need, there's the QS205 4T, which is up to say is way too much already, and the 5T, which is just useless unless your bike weighs like 300 pounds. For the controller, we are running a Socian ND72450, capable of 450 phase amps and 200 line amps. So really underpound the battery. But there's a trick. I'm not going to show this because I would highly not recommend this, but you can trick it into thinking it's a higher power controller, which I've done to push more line amps. Now, moving on to the rear of the bike. For the brakes, we had to space out the mounting arm, the brake mount, because it's stock. For whatever reason, the rotor was super far in the frame, and you have to put spacers there. Make sure they're the exact same height on the spacers, though. Do not use lock washers. And also, I'm running an ETM RTR pit bike brake, which was kindly given to me by the RTR Brad, because my Shiguras failed, and we're waiting for the SS Mods Ultra V brake kit. I'll tag them below. I would highly recommend going down the route of Ultra V brakes for this bike instead of formulas due to brake fade. For your throttle, voltmeter / display, and your mode selector, I would highly recommend going down the Econic Cycles path or the Hot Packs path for an easy plug-and-play option that doesn't completely break the bank. The surround throttle kit is about $60 from them. I still have to fix mine, that's why I'm running this cheap piece of shit. But it's $6 for a surround throttle and voltmeter from them. Honestly, a display is not really necessary with these controllers. Just like that, you can turn the bike on. Super simple. Once you learn to read a voltmeter, you can tell the percentage on any bike. One of the other hardest parts about building this bike was the fact that it's super hard to cable manage. And y'all still roast me this day about my cable management. Because this wiring harness right here is super hard to tuck away. And you have to run your wires exterior to your frame because there's no frame entry points. At least not on the older gens like mine. I'm not too sure about the new ones. For the headlight and tail light and pegs, they're all from acemotos.com. Go cop from there with code BREAD.
Coming now, follow my lead. Come coming now, follow my lead.
For the tires, I'm running some Amazon 20x4 tires, but I would highly recommend going down the route of 110 by 90 by 16 motorcycle tires. They will last much longer, a lot safer for these speeds too. Now that we have all the parts on the bike broken down, let's head inside and show you how to order all of it. Now, let's show you guys actually how to order the battery off Alibaba. I would highly recommend doing Alibaba, but anyways, let's explain that later. So you go to amorage.com. All this will be linked down in the description, so if you don't catch anything, that's A-okay. You can just click the link down below. Go over here, you go to batteries for Suron. You can do the V, I got the V1, the 9P will not fit, the 8P will fit. I would recommend getting the V1 either way. The V2 is a little bit shorter, that's all. But you see all the battery specs, and you can see all the different cell options. I went with this guy right here. So actually how to order it, you go to Alibaba. You can talk to them WhatsApp. I'd recommend just going with Alibaba. Now, if you're in Alibaba, you're going to choose whichever one you want. Then you're going to have to send an inquiry. Basically, in the inquiry, you're going to have to say where you live, what's your quantity, and which option you want. Then once they respond to your message, they're going to ask you what charger you want, whether you want air shipping or ground shipping, and if you want the V1 or V2. You can see, and if you want QS10. I would recommend QS10. You just go ahead, they'll give you options to purchase. You scroll up, you talk to them, you give them your address and an invoice. They give you different shipping options, comes with a free charger, and they'll send you an order. You click on it, it gives you the option to pay. Obviously I don't have that. It gives you the option to pay. You click on that, and then they'll ship your order. It takes about 2 to 4-ish weeks for the battery to come if you choose air shipping, and if you choose ground shipping, it's about 6 to 8 weeks, so about the same as a Chai. Now moving on over to the controller. Now, moving on over to the controller, I would recommend going down the Econic Cycles route instead of going down the Alibaba route. For about $60-ish more, you can purchase it off here with a lot faster shipping, better customer service, and it's just general an easier operation. So the controller I got, right now, I sold my 680, it had too much power, I didn't need it. I got the ND72 450, which it has, you want the one with canvas if you want to run a display, and built-in Bluetooth dongle, it doesn't really matter. Just order that like anything else. You can either get the throttle and voltmeter off of them, or you can get the throttle and voltmeter off of hot packs. Hot packs are a little bit easier. Like I said, doesn't really matter. Now, moving on over to the motor, I would just recommend going with the QS205, which I have pulled up here. Anywhere that has a 20x4 tire and has 170 millimeter dropouts is the way to go. So really, Alibaba, that's where I got mine. $330, $100 shipping. That's the motor I got. And I would recommend getting NB Power due to the fact they make good motors. They have high quality compared to other brands. That's pretty much for all the parts you need to order. All the other miscellaneous stuff you can order on your own. Not too hard, but obviously all this stuff will be linked down below.